Hello, and we're back round at Thursday again already. I don't know where the days go. It seems to be flying at the moment. Time it just seems to be whizzing away, and round we come to another Thursday, and it's training day. Yay! Um, I wasn't saying that sarcastically, by the way, even though it sounded it. Yeah. So I'm logging on today to talk to you about your subconscious mind. Sorry, I'm just sharing this on the other screen while we go. Yeah, your subconscious mind, because our subconscious mind is really crucial to the success we can achieve, the abundance we create in our life, how our life plays out. We run normally on scripts through the subconscious, and that means then that we're not really in control of how our life is playing out. These subconscious scripts are scripts that we take on right from the third trimester when we're in the womb, and they're really programmed into us by the age of 7 about our self-worth, how the world works, how money works, how relationships work. We pick up on all these nuggets, if you like, that then become seeds in our subconscious mind, but that become the scripts to how we live our life. But if you think about that, when we're in the womb, we're picking up on all these emotions that our mother is feeling, the vibrations of what she is feeling. I mean, that's particularly pertinent to me because during both my pregnancies, I was in abusive relationships, different men, and abuse manifests in different ways. But I realised after I'd had children that I would have to unpick those limiting beliefs for them and those feelings and those vibrations, and my responses of how I dealt with abuse, how I responded to aggression or threats or manipulation, particularly with my daughter. So I've worked out that eventually through reading and research, we realised that needs unpicking, because I don't want my children to carry on replaying those scripts. This is how scripts get handed down ancestral lines, if you like. The energy is transferred to our DNA, to our mind, everything within us then, so our family lines continue in these patterns. And we're all familiar with it, aren't we? We can see alcoholism runs in families, or gambling runs in families, or abuse runs in families, or poverty runs in families. And it's about people breaking those molds to step into a new reality. And obviously we learn so much, as I say, third trimester in the womb, right to the age of 7. But when we're children, we think differently than adults. We have kind of a different take on reality. So we're picking up on the nuances and bits and pieces of information, and we often pick up on incomplete pictures as children. We don't necessarily know what's going on fully, and we never know what's going on fully in the lives of people around us. So we pick these bits of information about what it means to be us, what it means to be a boy, what it means to be a girl, what it means to be in this family, what it means to live in this community. And we form these scripts of how life works, and they lodge within our subconscious mind, and then we play out our life according to these scripts. It's hard to earn money. It's, I'm not good enough. I mustn't speak up. It's bad to have strong personal boundaries. Whatever those beliefs may be, we then embody those through our lives, and we end up then in lives that don't necessarily serve us. And I say, I've been there, done that. I went through, had quite a dysfunctional upbringing in an extended family as a child. And the women were treated, as it was the 70s, but particularly as doormats. And there was mental illness in the family that wasn't classed as mental illness, that we were subjected to outbursts from this particular member of the family who probably did need treatment now with hindsight. But it meant I grew up with a very limited role, definition of a role of what women are and what they have to put up with, which led me as an adult from one abusive relationship where I had my son, and left that when I was actually pregnant. But the after effect was that I was so mentally battered, if you like, emotionally battered, I stepped too quickly into another relationship without healing, which led to 12 years of the most horrendous domestic abuse that I finally fled from. And it was through that experience, and me always holding a bigger picture for myself about what was possible, because I've always been able to see energies. So I'm thinking, this narrow life that I'm now leading isn't all that there is. But I had to really, to enable me to really utilize that, I really had to look at how I was thinking and behaving, than take responsibility for my own victimhood, if you like, and change the scripts that I live by. Now, one of the ways to change your scripts, of course, is you have to unlock that doorway between your subconscious mind that holds all these limiting scripts about why you can never achieve this and why you can't do that, why money will never come to you, and why you'll never be the one sat on the island in Greece owning it, you know, sipping Bacardis out of a little tight glass, an umbrella in, with being weighted on hand and foot. You know, why all those things aren't possible for you is locked deep within your subconscious mind. So, of course, nowadays we have all these personal development movements talking to us about, you know, getting into your vibe and alignment and journaling with gratitude and manifest, you know, so you can manifest. And they do work. They really do work. And my 28 Manifesting Magic course, which is available on Teachable Self-Taught, teaches you the 4 stages that I embodied to manifest a different life. It's like the first step, if you like, to really creating change within your life. Sustainable change that changes you. But sometimes unlocking our subconscious scripts can be really, really difficult. It can be that we're journaling, we're trying to align to our higher self, we're trying to feel the vibe, feeling that excitement of the abundance that future self has. How do they behave? How do they respond? That's what we need to embody. But as I say, my subconscious scripts were really rusted on, and it took me a good while to embody those changes. And I want to share with you today one of the tricks, tips that I use to help reprogram my subconscious mind out of those limiting beliefs about why I couldn't achieve greatness, why I couldn't earn money, why I couldn't make a living out of being a person who sees energy, because I had that limiting belief in my head. And yet, admittedly, it's quite a unique skill, being able to see energy, 3D and electromagnetic fields. But I had this limited belief that, oh, people would think I was putting myself up above everybody else, or people wouldn't be willing to pay for that, and those kind of things, which are all limiting beliefs. So I want to share with you one of the things I started to practice daily, which is ever so easy, that would help me unlock that doorway. So I just need to get my notes on the screen. Unlock that doorway between the conscious mind and the unconscious mind. Now, on the notice for this live below, you'll see there was 2 beautiful pictures of me, because obviously I'm stunning. And in the middle was a little video of a kaleidoscope. Now, when we're little, we all often had those kaleidoscopes toys, didn't they? We looked down, you twist, and all the beads went into these patterns, and it was beautiful. And nowadays on YouTube, you can watch beautiful kaleidoscope patterns with music that resonates to gamma waves and theta waves in the brain. We'll get back to this in a minute. But as someone who sees energy, all energy to me appears as kaleidoscopes. Now, whether it looks like that in reality and whether there is an absolute reality is beside the point. When I look at someone's chakras, I see kaleidoscopes. When I look at earth energy, I'll see lines and I'll see grids, but fundamentally it's part of a bigger fractal, which is a kaleidoscope. And I know that when I go into that space and go into that energy and allow my mind to go into it, because it's something I've always been able to do, then I am existing in a totally different mind than my day-to-day reality. It's the mind, it's that freedom and that expansion, that limitless we often feel in dreams, where anything is possible, reality is fluid, things change, things are creating, disappearing, everything is luminous and in magnificent detail. You know, you think about dreams that you've had when you've dreamt about a tree. You know, your mind, that isn't from memory, your mind has created a unique tree with every leaf on it, with every bit of bark. Your mind has created that, and you are experiencing it in that dream as reality, because that's how fluid reality is. When we're awake, we think this reality is solid and real. It isn't. It's a conception that we have about these things. So when I go into that energetic space, my mind is in a bridge between not quite being awake, but not being asleep either. And it is the most fantastic experience. This is why I'm dedicated to helping more women have that experience in whatever way possible, whether it be for long periods, briefest glimpses, but whatever. But it unlocks a part of ourself that is incredibly powerful and incredibly strong And that means we step into our daily existence looking at it differently, and therefore we can create more success, more abundance. But kaleidoscopes, these patterns of kaleidoscopes, we are, I think, intrinsically drawn to because they resonate with us. And as I say, I see energy as kaleidoscopes. And if it does sort of look like that in some absolute reality, if there is such a thing, I think we're intrinsically drawn to them. If we think about Mandelbrot patterns and Islamic art and stained glass windows, they're all almost like a snapshot of the pattern ones, a snapshot of a kaleidoscope taken at that millisecond before it all moves again. What the geometry of kaleidoscopes do, because they're often based upon sacred geometry, which is the movement of one number to another, and how it creates form, which is manifests all around us in the real world. Every tree, every plant, every butterfly, every shell, every mortal thing around you in the real world is based upon sacred geometry. How 0 becomes 1, becomes 2, becomes 3, becomes 4. It's why trees grow like they do, and branches come out where they do, and leaves come off they do. It's why broccoli looks like it does. It's why we look like we do. We have sacred geometry and sacred proportions throughout our whole body. We are intrinsically drawn to geometry. Now, when we look at kaleidoscopes, when we allow ourselves to stare at a kaleidoscope unfolding and unfolding and unfolding in front of us, what that does is, rather than sitting there, it's much easier to access the subconscious mind, that doorway into the subconscious mind, watching a kaleidoscope on your screen, and there are other conditions that you'll need as well, which we'll talk about in a minute, than it is, I have found, to sit trying to go into trance state with my eyes shut, focusing on this vision, and sitting there and thinking, my knees are aching, I'm not comfortable, oh, now my back's stiff. Did I pay that bill? And my mind would incessantly keep wandering. Walking meditations I found now much easier. I don't bother sitting still because it's just not me. When I like to sit still, I can do something like crochet, because you go into this oneness again, or knitting. Anyway, but if you can't still your monkey mind, which you can tell is sometimes a problem for me, if you can't still your monkey mind, watch kaleidoscopes. Now, the reason being, as I said, that when you watch them, your body relaxes, your gaze goes into kind of a different state. It's not gazing with the beta waves of the dominant brain. You start to relax into alpha waves, which is a relaxed state. And then you can drop into deep alpha and even into theta, which is a really deep meditative state, just by watching kaleidoscopes on the screen. So, and when you're in those alpha and theta states, that is when you are at your most suggestible. This is how hypnosis works, how subconscious programming works. When you're at your most suggestible, your ability to accept, believe, and surrender to information without analysing it is at its most potent. So when you're awake with your eyes open and you're in beta waves, someone will come up to me and come up to you and say, do you know what, you're brilliant. You can attract abundance. You can create whatever you want in life. But when you're in beta wave, you'll analyse it. You'll sit there going, no, they're wrong. I don't believe them because of X, Y, and Z. Because in your beta waves, you work in known information. This is your subconscious script, what you know and believe to be true. Whereas when you drop into lower alpha or even theta waves, this is almost like the crossover point between being dreaming and asleep and dreaming and awake, if you like. So we're at this most susceptible to programming. So when you gaze into the kaleidoscope, what it does, it bypasses all those neural pathways with all this known information in that are tripping you up and sabotaging you every step of the way and preventing you from retrieving your dreams, because you're going, oh, I can do this. No, I can't. Oh, I can do that. No, that's not going to happen either. So you can't see any information within a kaleidoscope that is anything to do with known information. It doesn't look like anything. Now, what I did when I wanted to start attracting money, actually, was I would stare at a kaleidoscope for like 10 minutes. And inside, there's a breathing technique, like a yoga breathing technique that slows your breathing down, because this is also important. And the light quality is also important. So you want to be looking at a screen almost like in a more darkened room. because that stimulates the pineal gland, which stimulates hormones that are quite important, and neurochemistry, which are quite important. So, for instance, when I wanted to start attracting money, I would watch in a slightly darkened room. So I would stimulate the right neurochemistry as well. I'd be looking at Kaleidoscope for 10 minutes and I would go into this deep state. And I'd also got a voice recorder playing with my positive affirmations about money and money and money. And then occasionally then out of this lucid state or half asleep state, I would occasionally like hold up a banknote in front of me and go, money. Because that then, what that enables your subconscious mind to do is allows you to have like a mystical experience. Now, what's that got to do with getting money? Well, actually quite a lot. Or achieving anything in life. What we do is the Kaleidoscope increases your level of trance. Sorry, I'm a bit befuddled. I'll go into that in a minute as well. So when you're emo suggestible, you decrease your brain waves from beta into alpha or even theta, and it increases your level of trance. And then you put these images in front of you when you're in suggestible state about money and affirmations. And it's possible for you to program your mind into a mystical experience or a different experience about money, success, abundance, love, whatever it may be. Now, when you're in that low state of low alpha or even theta, what your mind does, it grabs hold of that image and it starts to animate it. So it can be for me, like I would hold up a £10 note and it would start to look at that money and it would start to go, oh, all the things I can do with this money, like creating a dream. Like, oh, here's me driving my Maserati. Here's me buying that big house that I've always wanted and start to restore it. Here's me on a cruise. Here's me. And then you go into like these dream states. And then what happens then is that becomes part now of your subliminal processing. So it overrides the ones that you had before. And it starts to say, rather than when you see money and feeling dread and fear and, oh God, there's money, oh God, it's going to leave me. Rather than those kind of things then happening about money, when you start to reprogram your subconscious mind, then when I started to look at money, I started to feel really happy and really excited and really joyous. And I spent it thankfully and I talked to it all the time. And I developed a really deep love of money. Now, it doesn't mean I don't love the world and the environment and elephants and everything else that are endangered. It just means that I love money too and see that it has a purpose to play in my life to make great change happen. So using kaleidoscopes, you can watch them, and if you don't want to talk, if you've got a voice recorder on your phone, for instance, so if you can watch them on a laptop or another device, voice record your own affirmations to yourself. So it might be, I attract money easily. Money flows effortlessly and easily towards me, for instance, if it's a money problem, which a lot of people have got. And you can play that while you're looking at your kaleidoscope on that screen, and you can play it again and again and again, and that starts to break down the subconscious beliefs that you have. Now, there's a particular breath work that I work with, which again is part of my Sacred Living program. And light quality, you want a room sort of slightly dim. There's different light spectrums, red and orange you want to limit. Blue, green you want to limit. So you want a dimly lit room as well, because what that does, it stimulates the pineal gland. And your pineal gland is responsible for the neurochemistry that allows you to have these mystical experiences, which is part of really deeply reprogramming your subconscious mind. And I'm, excuse me. One of the things I will say at the moment is dropping into alpha and theta waves at the moment will require you to practice this. And it only has to be for a few minutes every day. But you can go on YouTube. There are many fractal kaleidoscope patterns that you can watch for free. Many of them accompanied by what they call binaural beats, which work in gamma waves and theta waves, which are the waves that you need to get into. And incidentally, at the moment, our brain waves are kind of our normal beta functioning. Our brainwave patterns work at 7.8 hertz, what they call it's a frequency. 7.8283 hertz is roughly speaking our beta waves, which is our day-to-day conscious mind, which is problem solving, active, I'm hungry, get up, do this, do that. Right? Now, the world, our human resonance, we have operated in that way because the Schumann resonance is one of the Earth's electromagnetic frequencies that go around the globe. We live in an electromagnetic environment. A few years ago, the Schumann resonance started to raise, and it raised by what they call two harmonics, which I won't go into detail, but it basically raised the Schumann resonance up into different brainwave states which are not normal. And at the moment, and particularly lately, it's actually been peaking in the gamma frequency, which is your higher states of awareness and altered states of consciousness. Now, I'm particularly sensitive to these things, so for the last fortnight we've had these massive peaks, and it's been playing havoc with my well-being. It also incidentally can be affecting heartbeat, digestion and breathing. So if you're feeling a little bit under par physically at the moment, it's because the normal functioning of your brain, which governs a lot of these things, is trying to exist in an environment that's out of sync with our brain at the moment, if that makes sense. I don't know whether it's to do with the switching of the poles. I've been looking into it in scientific papers. But anyway, what it means is that rather than existing in a day-to-day state, the Earth supported that. The Earth's frequency is now changing and going higher, which means we have to catch up, if you like, because the human species isn't going to evolve that quickly, by learning to switch more easily into our theta, lower alpha, theta and even gamma states. So watching Kaleidoscopes and repeating your affirmations is a really useful and fun way of doing it that actually requires very little effort on your part, other than to sit there and record some affirmations in readiness into an app on your phone that you can play while you're doing it. So that's my top tip actually for reprogramming your subconscious mind. Now obviously other people use these techniques, that's fine, but it's something that I just adopted many years ago actually, because this stuff has always been about, and it's an ancient system really in many respects. So I hope you found that useful. Apologies for the cracked voice, and I don't know whether you can see it, slightly watery eye. I had a bizarre popcorn accident last night, believe it or not. I nearly blinded myself on a bag of popcorn, so I've got like a paper cut across my eyeball. Ugh. So it's a bit painful. So hence the slightly dishevelled look and the grey roots. So I was going to dye my hair last night as well, but then my eyes streaming like this and coughing and spluttering because of the changes in the Schumann resonance. So I just thought, just go with the flow, woman, and give it up. So yeah, so I'd love to hear how you get on with the subconscious mind and the theta waves. If anybody gives it a go, just drop me some comments. I'd really like to hear your experience of this, because it can be great fun, and you can really start to notice the difference. If you do it for a few minutes every day, within a month, you will really start to notice the difference. And isn't it worth just committing a month of your time to create real change in your life? And it takes a month to incorporate these practices in our daily life. So try and stick with it if you can. It is worth it. It's very much worth it. And I'd love to hear how you get on, and if you give it a go. I'm sorry if you put any comments in, because again, they've not been coming up, and I know people are watching. I can see people are watching. So if I haven't said hello or haven't responded to you, that's it's simply because I can't see you. So yeah, have a good day, and yeah, let me know how you get on, because I really love to hear it, because some people have really profound, deep experiences, and some people it's just all builds over time. But accessing your subconscious, so say from my point of view as well for work, it enables people to more easily access like earth energy grids, earth energy lines, talk to nature elementals and nature spirit guides. That's an extension of this, because we need to get out of our monkey mind to more easily communicate with these things, because they don't exist in beta waves like we do, because they don't have the physical sort of mechanism that we do. So if we can get out, train ourselves, to train our brain waves to think in different frequencies, then we can access all sorts of information and consciousness that we would struggle to access in our ordinary day-to-day beta wave thinking. So yeah, so if anybody's interested in working more on this, of course, DM me. We can always get on a discovery call. My program, Sacred Feminine Living, When I Can Speak, is a 12-month long program which looks at brain frequency, changing your levels of consciousness, accessing earth energy and other earth energy consciousnesses and cosmic consciousness, to really unlock your deep inner sacred feminine power, and enables you to create and manifest and live in a completely different way than the constrained role that many women experience of scarcity, lack, and being just really contained in a very narrow role of what it means to be woman. So yeah, DM me if you want to learn any more. That's a 12-month program. That's for high-end women who are really committed to making a difference in their own lives and their business. To achieve next level success. So I say it's never been done before program, which is a mixture of science and spirituality. It's that bridge. And the bridge between science and spirituality is your mind. And if you can unlock your mind and change your brain frequencies and neurochemistry, then you can exist in a whole new way. So take care, have a good day, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye.